Hey everyone, how we doing? Matthew here. I am stood in absolute standstill traffic on the M25, and so whenever I have too much time on my hands, my brain goes. And I wanted to share this with you, right? As per the title of the video, like we're all part of our own story, right? We're all on our own journey, and every journey, every story, every good film, every good book, right, has, like, if you have to categorize it, there's only really 4 categories of people, right? You have the victims, you have the heroes, you have the villains, and you have the guides, right? And in the Herbalife ecosystem, or in what we're doing here, then as Herbalife coaches, we try to be the guides, right, to those that will allow us to, right? Some people are a bit resistant to guides sometimes, right? And then the villains, because I want to talk about victims and heroes, right? But the villains of this part of your journey of life, right, of achieving, whether it's weight loss or whatever body goals you're going after, right, the villains of that can be a lot of things. Yes, it can be a food, it can be a mindset, it can be emotions. Yes, it can be a physical person that you feel is a villain in helping you achieve. By the way, you can be your own villain, right? It connects to being your own victim, right? But you might want to think about what are the villains in the journey that you're on that are preventing you from or putting hurdles in the way of achieving your goals, right? So with the guides, right, villains can take on many forms, not always a person, it can be a thing, right? Or a what. And then in our own journeys, whether it be a health journey or a life journey or whatever, we tend to be, as individuals, the victim and hero in our own story, right? And on any one day, by the way, you could play either role 5 or 6 times. Well, what I believe, what I've come to learn, is that those that progress there towards their result that they want, and let's just talk about weight loss for a second, but please, revise this for whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, right? For those trying to achieve a weight loss result, those that identify the villains, right, and understand that they need to stay away from those things, and they listen to their guides, and they play the hero in their own story, they tend to be the ones that move towards their goals. They tend to be the ones that achieve their results, right? And by the way, if for any reason they're making progress, and then they get stuck, it tends to be because all of a sudden they've started playing the victim in their own story, right? And so we have those people, fantastic, right? Those that choose to play the hero in their own story make progress. As the guides, what we spend most of our time doing is helping people break free from the victim mentality, right? And again, in this journey of weight loss, a victim mentality can come out in things like people saying, I've always been like this, I come from a big family, and so they're blaming genetics, or they're blaming an upbringing, or they're blaming, but in short, they're playing victim to something, right? You understand, I've got a slow mentality. I've got a slow metabolism, right? And they blame the metabolism, right? By the way, victimism and blame go hand in hand, right? Being a hero comes from taking responsibility for who you are, how you got there, where you're going to go, your choices, your decisions, all that stuff. That's responsibility, that's hero, okay? With victim comes from blame. So you blame your parents, by the way, you can blame your job. You don't understand, I'm sat at a desk all day, and so I can't do my steps, I can't. That's blame, that's playing the victim, right? They blame their partner, right? Because, well, he's not supporting me, or she's not supporting me. They want to have a takeaway twice a week, right? And so now they're the victim of their partner who's doing this thing, and of course, you know, because they're doing something, they have to do it too. So this victim role of blaming, of not taking responsibility, tends to keep people stuck. And for some people, they're like a serial victim. So they'll get over one thing, they become a hero of one thing, they defeat one villain, and it's almost like they sit there waiting for the next villain to come along to remind them of why they are the way they are and why they can't change. Blame and playing the victim. And you know, I thought about it like this: if you watch football, right, but even if you don't watch it, if you've ever watched football, right, as a football fan, one of the most frustrating things to watch, to see, is when, you know, when a player gets a little knock, right, or they fall over and they roll around on the floor, they're holding their knee and they're like, right, and you just go, get up. They're playing the victim. There's nothing actually wrong with them. They're doing it for attention. They're doing it to, who knows, right? Only they're actually, you know what? They're cheating. Let's call it what it is. They're cheating. And sometimes when we work with people and they're like, my metabolism this, and you know, it's my birthday this week, so I'm going to do this, and like my products didn't arrive in time, and they have all of these excuses. By the way, excuses, blame and victimism go all in one pot as well. Like, the way I visualize that is like that footballer who's rolling around on the floor, holding their knee, hands on their face. You just go, get up. Get up. You're playing the victim. And as dramatic as it is, like, what do you want me to do about that? You got to get up and be the hero. You got to get up and play the game. You got to get back in the game. Or, by the way, get off the field. It's, as guides, there's only so much we can do. You got to identify the villains in your journey and choose to be the hero that overcomes those hurdles, that overcomes those things. Or you accept that you're playing the victim. And if you accept that you're playing the victim, you also have to accept that where you are is probably where you're going to stay. And you know the term TLC, and you go, what does that mean, TLC? Well, TLC means, most people, they go, oh, tender loving care. And you go, yeah, you know, as guides, we try to have tender loving care for our customers and the people we work with, and we tend to, we try to operate with empathy and understanding and da-da-da. But the other thing that TLC stands for is tough love coaching. Like, calling it what it is, saying what it is, right? And the easiest thing about doing a video like this is, if you take this personally, right, if you're offended by what I'm saying, it's probably because it applies to you, right? Saying this individually to someone is a much more delicate conversation. You know, saying, look, I think you're playing the victim in your own story. All those excuses you're bringing in and all that blame that you're putting on other things and other people, it's costing you. And until you choose to be the hero of your own story and overcome the villains and listen to your guide, I'm not sure there's much I can do for you. I'm not sure there's much anyone can do for you. So this is one of those videos that falls into the TLC, tough love coaching category, rather than the tender loving care, in the hope that someone may watch it and go, do you know what? I'm playing the victim in my own story. I'm creating excuses. I'm putting blame on others and other things. And maybe I should just choose to play a different role, to play the hero, to take responsibility for my decisions, to listen to my guide, to defeat the villain and achieve my goals. What do you think?